If you were a kid in the 80s, you probably remember a kind of freedom that's hard to explain now. You left the house without a phone. You played until dinner or until the streetlights came on. And somehow the world trusted you to figure things out. That wasn't just childhood, that was psychological training. People who were kids in the 80s grew up in a unique space between structure and freedom, silence and imagination. And that balance shaped how they think, feel, and move through the world today. Back then, play wasn't the massive industry it is today. Games and toys weren't endless, disposable, or constantly updated. When you got something new, a board game, a video game, a Lego set, it mattered. You didn't replace it next week. You replayed the same games, you reread the same manuals, you imagined stories long before you owned anything. That kind of waiting trained patience. That it taught you how to sit with anticipation, how to squeeze meaning out of repetition. And as adults, many of you still value familiarity over novelty, depth over constant stimulation. There was also a natural balance between outside freedom and inner worlds. Outside, you played hide and seek, tag, hopscotch, and rode your bike for hours. You made up rules as you went. You negotiated a fairness in real time. No adults refereeing, no constant supervision. That built adaptability, social awareness, and a quiet confidence in your ability to handle things yourself. Inside, you built worlds. With toys, with books, with imagination-heavy games like Dungeons and Dragons. No screens telling you what to feel. Just stories created together slowly. That nurtured a rich inner life. One that didn't need noise to feel alive. Emotionally, many 80s kids grew up with fewer conversations about feelings. You were expected to handle things, to tough it out, to keep going. That created resilience, but also a habit of processing emotions privately. Many of you learned to be strong before you learned how to ask for help. You're often emotionally deep, but selective. You feel a lot, just not loudly. And then there's the transition you lived through. You grew up offline and adapted online. You know silence. You remember boredom. You learned patience before instant gratification. So today, constant noise can feel overwhelming. Oversharing feels unnatural. You prefer meaningful connection over constant contact. As adults, people who were kids in the 80s tend to share certain traits. Independent, loyal, but selective. Comfortable alone. Nostalgic, but realistic. Calm in stillness, uneasy in chaos. You weren't neglected. You weren't coddled. You were shaped by a slower world. One that asked you to imagine, to wait, and to figure yourself out. And maybe that's why, even now, you still carry that kid inside you. The one who knew how to disappear into a game, a thought, or a quiet afternoon, and feel completely okay there. Tell me, do you still recognize that kid in yourself today?